Welcome, College of Eastern Idaho students, to our Facebook and YouTube live updates. This is our second time on both platforms.
Yay!
And about our 7,000th time doing this show.
Or 8,000th.
I'm not sure anymore.
Not sure either. But we missed you last Monday when we were gone for Labor Day.
We did, and there's plenty of things to talk about since
2
then.
weeks. Lots accumulates.
Lots accumulates. So we have a wonderful special guest today, Fernando Sandoval. He's our senior coordinator for JobCorps, which is in our CCR department.
Is Career and College
And
Readiness.
it's its own department, and it's exciting. Fernando's heading it up, and it's going to be an exciting thing. It is already an exciting thing.
He's going to tell us all about it.
We're going to learn so much.
We are.
So that'll be just after our updates. So we're going to start off with an inspirational quote from our illustrious Vice President Lori Barber. And as always, I am Dean Mike Walker.
That's right. We haven't changed. We're
Have
still
not
the same.
yet.
Yeah, that's
Thankfully.
right.
Never.
Yeah.
I'll never change.
All right. As usual, like Mike said, I have that inspirational quote. And today's inspirational quote comes from none other than Marie Curie. And for those of you who don't know, Marie Curie was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize in physics. She later, if you can believe this, went on to win a Nobel Prize in chemistry, and that made her the first person to win the Nobel Prize twice. Not the first woman, the first person to win the Nobel Prize twice. So pretty cool woman. She also went on to champion the development of the X-ray. And her quote today is, "Life is not easy for any of us, especially in time of COVID." That's my own little paraphrase in there. Anyway, life is not easy for any of us. But what of that? We must have perseverance and above all confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted for something and that this thing must be attained. So what I want to say is we all come with certain gifts, with certain aptitudes, with certain things that we're really good at. And so I really think that your job in life is to find out what that is and then bring that gift to the world, because you know what? We all need it. And CEI is hopefully here to help you find what you're really good at, what that gift is, and send you out in the world to go share that with everybody. So there you go.
What an inspirational message. Thank you so much, Lori. I really appreciate it.
Mike is always so kind to not call me corny. Well,
she is corny. I just called her corny.
I am.
So, but we know corn is very nutritious.
It's very good.
Okay, I don't know.
We've digressed.
That's too bad.
That's okay. You can tell we weren't here last week.
And speaking of corn.
Yes.
Oh, wow. What a segue. You can't see this because it's too small type, but I'm going to read it.
I could take it up to this.
Starting today. Oh, yeah, you can take it up there.
Okay, let's see.
Will that work? Oh, look, it does work. Okay. The CEI food drive for the Community Food Basket by Idaho Falls starts today from now until September 30th. So please contribute. Now, there's a couple ways you can contribute. 5 items or $5 gets you a raffle ticket for some really amazing prizes. If you want to see those prizes, drop by Student Affairs or call them up and have them show a webcam on them. And so we can bring the food to the kiosk. You can bring your food to the kiosk in Building 3 or to the Center for New Directions in Building 5. Or you can donate money for the food drive at the cashier's window in Building 3. So here's the kinds of food examples that they need. Now you need to take a picture of the list. That way you can take it home with you and whatever. But these signs are all over the place in Building 3 and 5. And also you can shoot an email to student.concern@cei.edu. And I will personally send you a copy of what's needed. But they need canned beef stew, chili, and soup, condensed of any kind, canned meats, canned pasta, anything non-perishable, applesauce, canned fruits, canned vegetables, dry cereal, granola bars, mac and cheese, peanut butter, pork and beans, potatoes, fresh or dehydrated, saltine crackers, spaghetti or macaroni noodles, 1 or 2 pound packages, spaghetti and pasta sauce, and rice, 1 or 2 pound packages. So anyway, you can find that out later, but the food drive starts today. That's the main thing. And there's raffles for really awesome prizes like a television and several other cool things hanging out in Student Affairs. So do check that out to our students and any faculty and staff that may also be watching today. Please help us out and bring the food items or financial donations for Community Food Basket. And as an added bonus, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
As an added bonus, Rick is interviewing their director, executive director, Ariel Jackson, Friday at noon. So you can tune into that as well. Also, same platforms. Yeah.
lots of food insecurity in our wider community of Idaho Falls and also right here on our campus. So this is a great drive that we're doing to serve not only members of our community, but the campus community, but the Idaho community at large.
And again, if you want a copy of that, it's available at student.concern@cei.edu. Okay, well, I'm going to show you how to do some masks. So you know how to do this, but I'm still going to emphasize it again anyway.
Me too.
This is the proper way to wear a mask.
Like this. Oh, Mike,
It's
isn't
covered.
this a proper way to wear a mask?
No, that is not a proper
Why
way.
is this not a proper way to wear a mask? I can breathe so much easier.
So your mouth and your nose are uncovered.
Oh, I thought just, oh,
But your nose now, that is a beautiful way to wear a mask.
what about this, Mike?
This isn't work. This is not how to do it.
This doesn't
This
work.
is really not how to do it. This is like if you're trying to fall asleep and you're alone at your house. You need to have your nose and your mouth covered, and it
At all
needs to be
times.
around your ears if you're wearing a mask, please.
And we understand that they're hot, that they're uncomfortable, but it is super important that we all do this. And really, it's so we can keep the school open. Because if we get too many cases across campus, there's a possibility, a chance that we might have to close campus. So this is your best, this and physical distancing. Physical distancing is really important too. However, that is not on the agenda, so I won't digress.
Well, it is on the, we can talk about stopping the spread of COVID, but let's talk about finish up the mask conversation.
Let's do.
So if you want to also, let's say you want to wear one of these awesome buffs, we recommend, because of the recent guidelines from the CDC, that when you're wearing a buff, that you actually double cover, okay? So what does that look like? You cover your nose and your mouth with 2 layers. These are very thick, okay? If you do 2 layers. If you do just 1 layer, they're not very thick. And the CDC says this isn't as helpful.
Those are brand new guidelines too, as of last week.
Brand new. So double them up. They actually work very nicely to do that. And they're very handy and they're right there. You can just double them up.
And
okay?
winter is coming, so you're going to be so warm when you wear these.
And the only reason we're not currently wearing masks is we are 6 feet apart and we are talking on a broadcast.
Right.
But again, we as soon as this broadcast is over, Lori,
Yep.
Fernando, and I will be putting our masks
We will.
back on.
We will. Nice demonstration, by the way, Mike.
Yes.
Done.
Ways not to wear them. Okay. This is not a way to wear a mask.
All right.
This is not a way to wear a mask. Okay. This would protect you, actually.
Well, it's not doubled.
You might, it's not doubled. You're right. It wouldn't protect you because it's not doubled.
There we go.
This will protect you, but you might not see very well. So, I mean, if you're in a place where you can just hang out, that's probably fine.
But you can't fall asleep in class, so you can't wear it that way.
The truth of the matter is, though, we're really concerned about this action.
We are. That's in all seriousness.
Put it up over your nose. We recognize, that you are having a hard time breathing, but we want to really stop the spread. And the CDC has suggested that this is one of the best ways to do that.
That's right.
And as you know from the text messages and emails that you received, COVID has come to campus.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Well, I was just you're going to talk about this. Go ahead.
So there's a couple more reminders. You see these signs all over campus, right? And they're just
Yes.
some really good regular reminders. I'll walk it up to the screen. You've seen this on our website. You've seen this on our campus. You've seen this on the sign. Slow the spread of COVID-19. Stay at home if you're sick or displaying any symptoms. Keep a 6-foot distance from others whenever possible. Wear a face covering at all times in CEI buildings, and clean your hands for 30 seconds with soap and warm water often, and use hand sanitizer, okay? So those are just some reminders that we have for all students.
We do. And I would like to reiterate the 6-foot physical distancing. So the CDC has come out and said that is just vitally important. And so make sure that in classes, I know in class, sometimes it's really hard not to just walk over and, if you're doing group work, to talk with your classmate or whatever, but you really need to maintain that 6-foot physical distancing. If there were to be a case in your classroom, one of the first things that When we call the Eastern Idaho Public Health, one of the first things they're going to ask is, were the people who were in the classroom masked, and were they 6 feet distance apart? And if we can answer yes, then that makes a huge difference in the protocol that we have to follow for that class. If the answer is yes to that, the student would be quarantined, but not the rest of the class. If we have to answer no to that, then more people will have to be quarantined. So, and everybody's been doing a great job on the 6 feet physical distancing and wearing their mask. Let's just make sure the masks are above the nose and make sure that in your classrooms you are maintaining that distance. I know we sound like a broken record, but super important.
It's really important. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So on to our updates.
Okay. So am I do financial aid? All right, here we go. Financial aid updates. All right. The next check release for financial aid refunds will be mailed after September 16th. Withdrawing from one class or a few classes can affect your satisfactory academic progress, which can affect your financial aid eligibility. Be sure to check with financial aid on how you will be affected. Withdrawing from all classes will cause a payback to your financial aid. Please contact financial aid to discuss your options and your potential payback. First-time students, first-time loan borrowers, loans are held for 30 days and will be released after September 24th, and refund checks will be mailed after September 29th. CARES funds are still available, and you can apply for those. Please complete the COVID-19 relief funding application online. Having a little bit of trouble reading today.
That's okay.
Sometimes reading is hard.
You know, so the CARES Act money is really important.
It is.
There's a lot available still. Those who have already applied can apply for more. So it's free funds to give COVID relief.
Right.
If you have any questions, the financial aid office phone number is 208-524-3000, option 7. And you can always reach them that way or by visiting their website. If you click on cei.edu and then it's /financial-aid. So anyway, let's go to the next update. So drop-in hours for the Mental Health Counseling Center with Dr. Dawn Curitin, or in other words, if you don't have an appointment and you want to drop in, that's from noon until 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. Subject to change if, Dawn is happening to take a day off or something like that. But generally speaking, those are the drop-in hours, and you can get some additional help if you need to and get connected if you just want to talk to somebody. You can also, of course, always just make the appointments themselves directly, cei.edu/counseling-center. And you can actually make an appointment right there online, checking the availability for those kinds of things. And those are free of charge for credit-based students.
And if you're struggling, if you're having just some issues, if things just feel like they're spiraling out of control for you, Dawn is amazing and available for those short-term counseling appointments.
12 sessions. Every student gets up to 12 sessions.
Yeah, so take advantage of that. Oh, my turn. Sorry. All right. I'm not paying attention. All right. So we wanted to let you know that we have a new resource available for single parent students. We have received a grant. Mike and Julie McMurtry applied for that grant. So kudos to you guys, Julie McMurtry and Center for New Directions. It's amazing. So we received a grant from the City of Idaho Falls to assist single parent students with childcare expenses. In order to be eligible, you must be receiving childcare assistance through the Idaho Childcare Program. The grant allows Center for New Directions to pay a portion of the parent's copay requirement. Please find the frequently asked questions document as well as the application attached
to an email that was sent out today.
It said to this email, but to an email that was sent out today. Clearly, this is not an email, but to an email that was sent out to you today. Be sure you're checking those emails. That's how we communicate with you, and there's all sorts of good things to be found in those emails. Completed applications must be returned to the Center for New Directions office located in Building 5, room 591. And if you have questions, please give our office a call, the Center for New Directions, a call at 208-535-5363. Super excited about that.
Yes, and that's, again, the number right there for the Center for New Directions if you need it. Okay, so we have some very exciting, and by very exciting, I mean not so exciting.
Well, and we know everybody's getting a little tired of hearing about COVID, but it's so important for us to make sure that everybody is up to date with the most recent information and changes that have happened on our campus with regard to COVID. So we just want to make sure you guys know everything that's going on. We want to be completely transparent and make sure that we're keeping the campus open and available for all of our fabulous students.
So I guess I'll ask the questions and you'll do the answers, or no? You're doing the questions.
Yeah, that's right.
Answers. Okay.
So Mike coached me on what we're doing, and I just can't.
I forgot to.
I just can't seem to keep it straight. Today has been a really busy day. It's been a real Monday. All right. So, Mike, what should I do if as a student, what should I do if my employee, contractor, or student informs me that they have tested positive for, have been in contact with someone who has tested positive for, or think they might have symptoms of COVID-19?
Well, Lori.
Thanks, Mike.
We created a new email to solve this problem, help this a little bit more easily, especially for students, faculty, and staff that just really don't know what to do. You can send an email now to covid@cei.edu. That's COVID @cei.edu. And as soon as you're able, if you're not feeling well or whatever, containing the person's name, the relationship to the college. So are they a student member? Are they a staff member? Are they a faculty member? Are they a contractor? And then just describe in the email what the situation is. And that email will forward to anyone in the know who needs to solve the situation. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I tested positive, or oh my gosh, I came in contact with somebody who tested positive, or something, any myriad along those lines, COVID@cei.edu, and it will get to the right person.
Yeah. And, send us an email no matter what your concern is regarding COVID. Even if you're like, well, my son's coworker's wife tested positive for COVID. And so now what do I need to do? Because we know that there's a lot of confusion about how many degrees of separation do we need to think about when we start talking about what needs to happen on our campus. So we're happy to answer all of those questions for you. All right.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Are we ready for the next question?
Yeah, we are.
All right. So, Mike, what information is taken into consideration when thinking about these COVID cases?
So once that email has triggered things, if either the individual who tested positive for COVID-19 or the individual who was exposed to the individual who tested positive was not properly wearing an appropriate face covering the entire time they were together, the exposed individual must quarantine for 14 days. This is considered a confirmed exposure. So an example of this might be,
I don't know.
like a family member that you live
Yeah.
with. I mean, you're not going to be masked around your family member the entire time.
And you're going to be around them for more than 15 minutes. So also that 15-minute time period is pretty important too. So there's time is important, how far away you were from the person is important, and whether you are masked or not is important.
If the individual tested positive for COVID-19 was seated or standing within 6 feet of an exposed individual for greater than 15 minutes, the exposed individual will need to be quarantined for 14 days. This is considered a confirmed exposure.
So that would be if you were in a class and for whatever reason you sat closely next to somebody for 15 minutes or more. Hopefully that's not going to happen. That shouldn't happen. But if it did, and then the classmate tested positive, that would trigger a 14-day quarantine for the person who was sitting close to the person who tested positive.
And then if the individual who tested positive for COVID-19 was seated or standing more than 6 feet away from the exposed individual for greater than 15 minutes, the exposed individual will need to self-monitor for 3 days while continuing to work and or attend class on CEI's campus. This is considered a potential exposure because CEI's education exception with Eastern Idaho Public Health. Importantly, if the exposed individual experiences just one symptom during that 3-day period, then they will need to quarantine for 14 days and will be considered a confirmed exposure. So we don't want to spread. This is why we're doing that. That's an example. Again, this information will be sent out. Don't worry.
Right.
We'll get this information to you, but you have at least now here, and you've heard it here as early as it came across.
And we get it. It's confusing, and honestly, it changes often. And so we are in contact with all of the people in the know, Eastern Idaho Public Health, the CDC. People on our campus are participating in calls with state officials to make sure that we are doing everything to keep students, faculty, and staff members safe. That is our number one concern. All right, Mike.
And are there any questions about any of that? Just throw it out there. You can feel free to enter into the comments and we'll put your questions up.
Yeah. Or you can email that COVID@cei.edu if you come up with questions after the broadcast ends. So, all All right, Mike, you ready for the next one?
I am.
Okay, how will the college notify impacted individuals?
So if it's known that a person has a confirmed exposure or potential exposure to someone who's tested positive, someone at the college will phone or email that individual. And additionally, the college may send out a rave notification. Typically, the college will only send out a rave notification, so that's text messages and emails, if a confirmed case happens on our campus.
Right.
So that's the more typical response. However, if there's a public health risk, we will send out a rave notification, which sends a text message saying, here's the confirmed cases, and an email link that shows that.
Right.
You can also find that information on our updates page, which you can see on the screen, cei.edu/COVID-19-information/updates. Again, that's on the screen. The shortcut link is there, COVID-19-information. Again, that's on the top banner if you just go to our main website, cei.edu. And then, of course, you can always go to just COVID@cei.edu if you have questions.
We have a lot of people working on this, again, just to make sure that we're doing everything we can.
So I'm going to ask this question because that way I don't have to talk.
Sounds good, Mike.
When can an individual who's experienced a confirmed exposure return to campus? And let's say we're talking just about students here.
Okay, so if the individual is a CEI student, after they have quarantined for 14 days and are not experiencing any symptoms, including being fever-free for 24 hours and not taking any fever reduction medication to make sure that your fever is down, or when they are not experiencing any symptoms, including being fever-free for 24 hours and not taking any fever-reducing medication, and can supply student affairs with a copy of a negative COVID-19 test, or when they are not experiencing any symptoms, including fever-free for 24 hours and not taking any fever reduction medication. We really want you to have that information, and can supply student affairs with a copy of a doctor's release. So there are really 3 different scenarios in which you can return to campus. And the main thing is just to make sure that you're not returning too soon, making sure that you are completely symptom-free before you come back on campus.
And staff and faculty, stay tuned. This information will be emailed to you as well.
Yeah. All right, Mike, is there anything else that we should know, students should know?
I just want to put the student affairs phone number up there, 208-524-3000, option 4. If you have any questions, someone there can help answer them. If they're unsure, they'll transfer to me, and I can answer the questions in any way for a student that they need. And if you also want to talk about it, I'm available for virtual appointments, some physically distanced face-to-face appointments, masked, of course, and just want to make sure that your questions are answered. You can also email me. So again, COVID@cei.edu if it's COVID related. If there's a student that you're worried about their health and well-being, student.concern@cei.edu. Although, just send it to whatever. And then my personal email, michael.walker@cei.edu.
Maybe don't just send it to whatever.
Well,
Because if it goes to whatever, we might not
Yeah,
get it.
someone might actually take that literally. There are some emails addresses listed on the screen right there. There's the COVID one,
You should send them to
and there's the
those email
student.concern one.
addresses.
That's the ones. Those are the ones that you want.
Absolutely.
So those are all the things that I had as far as updates. It was a little bit of a marathon there, but not too bad.
Okay.
Are there any questions from anybody either on Facebook or YouTube? Looks like we don't really have a lot of questions today.
All right. So let's get on with our interview. So Fernando, now we turn to you.
All right,
All right, spotlight's on you.
sounds good.
That's great. Take it off of Mike and I and on to you. So like Mike said, you're a senior coordinator for JobCorps here at the college. You've been with us for about a month now.
Mhm,
So thank you so much for being willing to come today and answer our questions.
Of course.
We have about 8 questions for Fernando. The first one is just tell us about your background, your schooling, work history, anything that will help our students get to know you better. And then just kind of maybe round it out with how you came to be here at College of Eastern Idaho.
Sure. So I grew up in the area, so I graduated from Skyline. I went to school at ISU. I got my master's in public administration. I got my bachelor's in political science. And then as far as my work history, I worked for the Community Council of Idaho for a little over 5 years. In 2 different roles. I was doing outreach and enrollment when the Affordable Care Act came to pass. And then later on, I took the job as the development director. So writing grants and charging up their fundraising activities there. And that was a really great experience. Got to learn a lot. And then I changed to, I worked for the state for a little bit, the Idaho Industrial Commission. They are the agency that oversees workman's comp here in the state of Idaho. So I did that for a little bit. And then this opportunity came up, the College of Eastern Idaho. It really fit kind of what I like to do, kind of some of my experiences. So I decided to apply, and it all worked out. So that's kind of how I came to start at College of Eastern Idaho.
Awesome. Worked out for you, and it really worked out for us. We are
so.
Thrilled that you're here.
Amen. Hear, hear. All right. Well, please tell us about JobCorps and why it's important to our community and for CEI.
For sure. So JobCorps is a program that's been around for a long time. It's a national program. Usually how it works, it has a center, a center-focused environment for students, right? Where they live on campus and they receive all their stuff there. So Idaho's doing a little different this year. They're running it through the community colleges. So perfect fit for the College of Eastern Idaho. One of the reasons I think it's such a good fit here is because student-focused that College of Eastern Idaho presents here, and the College of Career Readiness that's already here. So students that are ages between 16 and 24 have to be income eligible and have some barrier to education. So that is pretty much how the program works. So it can help you get into, the goal is to get you into a high earning field or a technical field quickly. So the goal is to have you earning $16 an hour by the time you complete whatever program it is that you want to do. So the reason I think it's important here is because it kind of fits with the mission. Given the trades that the programs here that College of Eastern Idaho offers, some of the work certificates, the GED, all that kind of plays into role of different pathways that students may be on. So depending on where you are, JobCorps will look differently for you. So it's about connecting you with the different resources and kind of leveraging the resources that the College of Eastern Idaho already has. So that's why I think it's a great program here, because there's so many services available to students that can kind of supplement the JobCorps program here. So I think it's great that it's here at the College of Eastern Idaho.
So I have a follow-up. I'm so sorry. So I'm known for going off script, Fernando. So I guess I should have told you this before you came. But you mentioned that it's for individuals who might have a barrier to education. What are some of those barriers?
Sure. So some of them could be, let's say you're a high school student and you just kind of struggled getting on track and you're falling behind, and you want to get back on track and get your GED. Or let's say your financial situation is kind of in a tough spot and you need some help with financial aid and things like that. So that's another type of a barrier. You could have struggling in specific areas, math, English, history, whatever the case may be, and you just want some refresher courses in that to kind of get you back up to speed. Childcare could be a barrier. So there are some funds with JobCorps to help cover the cost of childcare. Transportation may be a barrier. Meals, we have some funds to cover meals as well. So, and then there's kind of just the general barrier education where we have a little more flexibility. So depending on the situation, it could be technology, it could be access to a laptop, things like whatever you're struggling to get you through there. But mostly think of kind of financial barriers, mainly financial barriers, or kind of just you need help getting back to where you need to get into your GED or get you on that path to the program.
So anybody who's between 16 and 24 and they feel like, I have problem X, and so there's no way I can go to college, they would be an ideal candidate for this. For sure. At least come talk to us and see if your situation fits in with what the program, because there are some requirements for the program. But if you think, just based on your income and you have some type of challenge, let us know. We might be able to get you in. Awesome. All right. That kind of goes right into our next question. So Fernando, how are you recruiting students into JobCorps?
Sure. So a bunch of different methods for that. So we have our workforce coordinator, who's Robert Ballinger, who just came on a few weeks ago, who is kind of heading up our outreach and enrollment efforts. And it's looking very different for different populations that we're seeking. So for high school students, it's a lot of communicating with the counselors at the different schools, the administrators, teachers, to find out what students would be good fits, who's facing challenges and who might be a potential good fit for the program. Reaching out to the different departments here on campus, nursing, welding, things like that, to kind of see, hey, what students they may feel be good fits for the program. And then we're reaching out to different community partners, nonprofits, and other stakeholders in the area to get the word out. Foster groups, things like that. So veterans, it kind of depends on what we're looking for, but it's a mixed bag of different outreach and enrollment efforts. So
great. So Fernando, is there a cost associated with this for the student?
For the students, no. That's kind of the whole point. That's really the benefit of JobCorps. So students are encouraged to apply for FAFSA and all that stuff to see what they get through financial aid, and anything that wouldn't be covered through financial aid, class fees, books, things like that. We can cover it as well. And we also have a little bit of flexibility So let's say, especially now with COVID and you have maybe all your classes are online, your laptop's old, you need a new laptop. Well, maybe there's some ways that we can get you something as well on that end, or your internet access is pretty spotty, things like that. So yeah, so no cost for the student. That's the big part.
Awesome.
Yeah, the goal is to get you whatever you need at no debt. So.
Okay. One more follow-up. So how many students are you looking to take into the program?
So year one, the goal is 50 students. Okay. So we're going to have 2 caseworkers with the maximum caseload of 25 per caseworker. So for the goal for the first year is 50, but that's if we do have the capacity to serve more if we get to that point,
Great.
Hopefully. But the goal is 50 for the first year.
Perfect.
Yep.
No more follow-ups, Mike.
Well, we have a comment. Should we do that now? It's not related to what we're talking about.
Yeah, let's just.
Okay, so one of our viewers mentioned that there's been a question that's gone around. This actually was brought up as well at the President's Forum last week. So students with disabilities prevent them from wearing masks. Are there exceptions that can be made for the mask rule, or are there accommodations that can be made for those students to participate in those classes? And a follow-up, accommodations by mind are online options for lecturers to minimize exposure for both the student with a disability and others, or no mask exception for a person for required classes. So there are some of those options available. I would encourage you to either contact Disability Resources or to have the student contact my office. Yeah. But there are some programs like nursing where that's not going to be an option. But in general education, there are some accommodations, and even for nursing, if a student contracts COVID itself, they are doing some virtual options for those students. But as far as the students with a mask exemption, if they're in a nursing program, it's not going to be an option. But if they're in a general education program, there is some flexibility, but they do have to provide a doctor's note, and it has to explain the accommodation that's required from the doctor specifically.
And they can't just take that to their instructor. That doctor's note has to go through Mike or through disability, who will then refer you to Disability Resources. So there are some protocol that we have to do that, but there are some accommodations that can be put into place.
Yes,
for certain degree programs.
Yeah, for certain degree programs. Because of the close contact with nursing, that's not going to be an option. So thanks for that question. Okay, back to Fernando. What steps should a student take if they think they might be a good fit, or that JobCorps might be a good fit for them?
Sure. They can email us at jobcorps@cei.edu.
Okay, I'll post that.
Or they can call us at the College and Career Readiness Center.
And that's JOBCORPS?
Yes.
At CEI.edu?
Yes.
Okay.
And then they can also just contact us via telephone at 208-535-5389.
5389?
Yep. And there is information on the College of Eastern Idaho website, and there's also, if you go to the Department of Labor website, you can get the application from there and print it out and start filling it out and send it to us. But here in a little bit, we're in the process of updating the College of Eastern Idaho website where we'll put the application as well. But if you feel you're a good fit or you just want to talk about it, go ahead and give us a call or send us an email and we'll get back to you.
Great. I'll leave that number up for the duration of the interview just so that we have it. So in case there's any additional students that want to join the program.
Cool. And one thing I forgot to mention as far as like the benefits to the students. So with JobCorps, there are weekly requirements, and each weekly requirement has a stipend attached to it. So there's a possibility of each student being able to get $16 a week. I know it's not a lot, but it helps a little bit. Sure. And you'll get that stipend bi-weekly. So as long as you maintain, it's a list of things, but maintain a C in your class, meet with your caseworker, things like that. And that will be deposited directly into their account. So there's a financial incentive by just doing what you're supposed to do and maintain your C average, and you get a little commission.
And it's just really a healthy way just to motivate yourself to get things done. I mean, you're going to need to do any of these things anyway to be a successful student.
Exactly. You should be doing most of these things anyway. So it's just a little incentive to get those things done. And then with that too, there's also the support that comes with those weekly requirements. You can meet your caseworker. There's a mental health component. So there's a lot of ways to get support if you're struggling through the process, which I think is the key to JobCorps, is that support from the staff and then the CEI community as well, in case you're struggling early on. And that's why those weekly appointments with your caseworker are so important to face those challenges when they present themselves, so they don't turn into kind of a big thing down the road. So just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, great. All right, thanks. Okay, so JobCorps is in our Career and College Readiness Department. We call that CCR on campus. What other services does CCR offer that are helpful to our students?
Sure. So CCR, really great program here on campus. They do English as a second language. They do a lot of the testing, all the costs of the testing. They do the GED Academy. So those students are looking to come back to school after a long layoff. They want to test themselves and kind of see where they are. College and career readiness is the perfect place for that.
Kind of dovetails really nicely with JobCorps.
Exactly, yeah, because most of those students are looking to get back into something or get training to get where they need to go, and college and career readiness kind of starts that off to kind of, where's the jumping off point for everybody?
Right.
Yeah, so.
Fantastic.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
So this is a question we ask a lot, and I think given your role, it's a really important one as well. What is your advice if a student is struggling in college and thinks they just can't continue taking classes amidst the COVID pandemic?
Okay, great question. First thing is seek help, I think. Don't take on that challenge by yourself. If you're already struggling and you're realizing that by yourself you're not doing so hot, well, don't take that all on by yourself. Reach out to your counselors, reach out to your professors or your instructors. If you're really struggling, speak to them, let them know. Maybe it's a challenge that they can help you with. Maybe it's a barrier that they are familiar with and have a solution for you. So don't suffer in silence. Seek help. That's one of the best things about being in college. There's so many resources here, and not only that, they want to help you.
They do.
They really want to help you. So
It's their job.
yeah,
I mean, we have so
exactly.
many people that is their job.
We only exist for the students.
That's correct.
We are here to help you, to make your life easier through college. All of us, whether we're a staff member in JobCorps, a staff member in another department, a faculty member, a business office staff member. I mean, it doesn't matter a vice president, a dean, whatever our role, the president. We're here to help students. That's why we exist.
That's right. And we have lots of services. So I think, Fernando, you said it best. Don't suffer in silence. Please reach out to somebody. And if you just don't even know who to reach out to, send an email to that student.concern@cei.edu. Somebody will get back with you and visit with you about what you're currently struggling with, and then put you in touch with the right resource on campus. But don't feel like you're alone. We are here for you. We are here to support you. We have lots of services. And like Mike said, we want to help. All right, so building off that last question just a little bit, what are 3 things that a student can do to be successful in college, in your opinion?
Okay, in my opinion, I think one of the best things is surround yourself with positive people. I think that's really important. If you're,
I do that.
Me too.
I'm doing that now.
Me too.
I think especially if you're in classes that you're struggling with, there's oftentimes other students are having some of the same challenges. So if you can get together with a study group or whatever, so just surrounding yourself with people that are, driven and on the same mindset as you, I think really helps. So that would be kind of one of my top suggestions is surround yourself with good people.
It's very yogi too.
Namaste.
Sit down. We do this regularly.
We do. Did we do 3?
No, he's got 2 more to go.
A couple more.
2 more.
So surround yourself with good people. Number 2, find out the resources available to you on campus.
Yes.
There's so many good resources, tutoring, counseling, Centers for New Direction. There's so much workforce development. I've met with them a few times, and they do so much more than I knew before I got here.
Yeah.
So many cool certificates, so many, anyways, but.
Student affairs.
Counseling,
Student affairs,
advising,
yes.
student affairs, student life. Yeah.
Yeah, so just be aware and know who to go to for different needs, because there's somewhere on campus can help you with kind of no matter
right.
what, food, whatever. So find out the resources on campus and how to access them. I think there's always a good one. And then the last one, I think it might sound silly, but maintain a schedule. I think that really helps.
Yes.
If you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail kind of thing. So if you can set up your semester, set up your calendar, set up your
I'm adding
schedule.
that to the banner. That's great.
I think that really helps, because one thing I've noticed, especially in the workforce, things always take longer than you anticipate.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
give yourself some time, get your schedule ironed out, and I think that'll really help.
Oh, fantastic. All right.
All right. Well, then our last question, Fernando, for you is, do you have any parting words of wisdom or thoughts for our students?
Ooh, that's really put me on the spot.
You notice Mike is laughing. He thinks it's corny. Guess who wrote that question?
For me, it might sound silly, but I've had so much help throughout my college career and my professional career that I think it's really, none of us get anywhere without the help of others. I think it's really important that people seek help when they need it. Don't be scared to. I think sometimes a lot of people, I don't know if it's pride or what, but they don't want to get the help that they need, or they might think that's a silly question, or they don't want to appear like they don't know the material or whatever the case may be. But we all need help sometimes. Don't be scared to reach out for that assistance.
Yeah. All right.
I completely agree. Those are some great parting words of wisdom. And I think there are lots of resources. Again, I want to put up some of those resources. So specifically today, we were talking about JobCorps with Fernando Sandoval, the senior coordinator over that program. So the phone number is there, and the email jobcorps@cei.edu, and the phone number 208-535-5389. Reminder, if you got a COVID case positive or questions about COVID@cei.edu is a good place to go for that. And then, of course, if there's a student, if you yourself are struggling, or if you know of a student who's struggling, anyone can send this email, student.concern@cei.edu, and we will try to help students get through those concerns. So those are all the thoughts we have today. Lori, do you have any parting wisdom?
Well, I'm very excited about JobCorps. JobCorps is actually, it's a pilot program the way that we're doing it now. Again, like Fernando said at the beginning of the interview, that it used to be a residential program in Boise, and so they're spreading it out across the state. So we're super excited and glad that they're doing it differently. So we can participate in that because we feel like it's going to be a huge benefit to the college and our students. So you guys just stay well, be safe, and we will see you back here in a week, where I believe we're going to have our Department Chair of Humanities and Social Science, Ken Kisner, will be with us to talk about a lot of academic things.
Awesome. One last reminder, there's the DSR, is it DRS, Dan? No, yeah, DSR, I'm sorry. You did it right. He's only over that program. Dan has shared, he's the senior coordinator for disability resources. So go to the website, www.cei.edu/DSR, if you have any questions about disability resources. Thanks again for those who had some questions, and also those who offered some thoughts and advice and participated. Thanks again to Fernando for taking time today to come to our little show.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lori.
Well, Mike always does all of these notes. He has them typed out for us, and it's a lot of work. So thank you for doing that every week. Yeah,
thank you.
Appreciate it.
And we are enrolling students, so anyone that's interested in JobCorps, reach out to us. We're accepting applicants. We're looking to get people in the program and get you the support you need. So
absolutely.
Awesome.
And just as a reminder, we have that phone number. We'll leave it up there until the end of the show.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Be safe. Take care.
Any last comments or thoughts or questions, concerns, ruminations? Speak now or forever hold your peace until next week. Or not, just send an email.
Or email.
Or call.
Or text.
Whatever. We're here.
Get in touch with us. We're
Yes.
here pretty much 12 hours a day.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Thanks.